Carp Jesus went hunting up in North Texas last week. Spent 3 nights out on 2 different properties, and I'm on the first property. Got a boar out there at about 325 yards. It is moving off to the left, and while I did go after it, I was not able to get there in time before it made it onto the neighbor's property off to the left. We'll be hearing a lot about the neighbor's property tonight. In the opposite direction, on my property but across a road, is another boar out there at about 450 yards. And I saw hogs 4 times, including the sounder over there, all headed in the same direction. Now, given the prevailing winds, all the hogs down in that direction were safe from hunting this evening, but will be the target for the future. Back in the opposite direction, have another sounder over there on the neighbor's land. I'm at the top of the hill, and in the next hunt where we shoot hogs, the low pasture in the top of the hill will be where the action takes place. The next night out finds me beaver hunting, and I've come up with this idea that these hot spots in the bank that are these old burrows maybe are actually active burrows, and that's actually hot water coming out of them. I'm heading along and I see this. That's a raccoon coming out of a beaver burrow in the bank of the lake. As he gets out, you can see some slight ripples coming off the water. I did not expect to see that. No beavers for the night. But had there been, I would have used my Bearing Optics Super Yoder LRF mounted on my Lone Star Armory TX15 multi-purpose carbine enhanced in 6.5 Grendel with a Silencer Co Omega suppressor. Shooting some Nosler ballistic tip 120 grain bullets donated by Michael Wiegertz, loaded by Dreadhill Armory into Starline Brass. A couple nights later, I'm out with Ben, and we want to get some of those hogs that were on our property but were across the road by the old cabin. We are now across the road, and we are set up behind the trees in the far field, waiting for hogs to come around and come down to us and walk right by us so that we can shoot them. That's the plan for the night. Ben is out there with his 243 Winchester with an OSS suppressor on it, shooting a Bearing Optics Super Hogster LRF. And that's my rifle. We've cut a couple holes in the limbs of the trees to get a view of the field so that we can see the hogs come in. And I'm using my InfiRay on top of the truck in order to get this footage. And it was Ben who first spotted the hog coming in. He noticed a deer had alerted to something coming in. He said there's a hog there. He gets on his rifle, which is the view that you're seeing right now. I'm working to get on my rifle. And the hog is on the other side of the fence. There's 3 deer. We're both checking for any other signs. The 3 deer have alerted. The hog's right there. And then the hog takes off. You can't hear it in the audio, but one of the deer actually jumped over the fence, kicking the fence, making a metallic noise, scaring the hog, and that's what spooked it. There were 3 deer previously, now there are just 2. Eventually we moved around to the top of the hill where we have a great view of the property, and on driving in we spooked this one hog. And as I got out, I was looking for it, and there I've spotted the hog.
Yeah, he's obscured by grass. He's still in that same vicinity.
So we need to move down and get a better eye on the hog. And so basically we have hillside and vegetation blocking our view, and so we're moving to get into a better position at this point. And I'm thinking we haven't gone far enough, or it's stuck into some heavy brush because I'm not seeing it. The wind's certainly not a factor for us at this point.
There he is. Do you have him?
Yes.
3, 2, 1.
2 shots, 2 hits, and the boar is down.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
Boom.
Boom.
He came in at 210 pounds, and we will have a carpe analysis of Trauma Diaries number 80, talking about both Ben's shot and my shot on this hog.
Brass Catcher by Tactical Brass Recovery.
We are now back in the low pasture looking at the neighbor's land.
Alright, we have 2 hogs in this image, one up on the hill, one down low by the fence. They're both on the neighbor's property. We're hoping the closer one will cross over to our side.
10 minutes later, and that still hasn't happened. The wind is blowing towards us from the neighbor's property, which is going to make up a lot of the rest of the video. That's a critical factor. And here comes a sounder This looks like the sounder that I saw a few nights prior on the other side of the property, except now this is on the neighbor's land. As these were the only hogs we were seeing, Ben and I decided to mirror the sounder, given that the wind was blowing towards us. We weren't worried about being smelled. It was awfully dark. We weren't going to be seen. And so these next series of images are with my Super Yoder LRF, and they're taken at about 1 minute intervals as we're following these hogs up and down the fence line. I thought it was interesting while watching the sounder, one of the boars that we'd seen earlier joins up with the sounder and then starts taking off with them. And Ben's getting worried that these hogs are going to walk out of our field of view. They're going to walk through the trees at the end of the fence line and disappear on us. He thinks we should do something to get their attention, maybe fire a shot. The idea here is that firing a shot will maybe scare the hogs and maybe they'll run on to our side of the fence. But I'm looking around and I said, hey, there's a coyote behind us. Why don't we shoot the coyote? And Ben says, yeah, we'll do that and then see what happens.
Shooter ready? 3, 2, 1.
Coyote goes right down. We spin in opposite directions to be safe.
Oh, there they go. Safe. Yeah, that scared them.
Yeah, no surprise there. However, you never know. They could have run to our side of the fence, but it was obvious they weren't coming on their own. The coyote turned out to be a female. Hit twice.
Yes.
Three, 2, 1. Fist bump.
Carpe sus, my friends.